Good morning, all. John Hoddish again. Um, Black folk, you are indigenous to America. You are not an African American, you're an American. I think that part of the division is, well, it's obvious the racial divide that's occurring. Racial divide usually, I think, in my opinion, stems from slavery, and it's hard to talk to people about slavery, white or black, because of all of the years that they were taught a lie pertaining to slavery and how it manifested. You see, um, the, the the slave trade back then, prior to slavery in the United States, was common. It was almost as common as, man. It was almost as common as peanut butter and jelly to people. It wasn't unusual. It wasn't strange to see. It was almost like a part of life. Slavery dated back to the beginning of time. The so the Africans that came over to America wasn't about a bunch of white people going over there and just grabbing people, like running through the jungles and grabbing friggin' Africans and throwing them in a friggin' cage. And it, it was Islam who had enslaved every race known to mankind from the time of their manifestation. They, ever since the false prophet Muhammad, you know, came about invoking the growth of the Muslim nation. You know, he went to Mecca. They denied him, the Christians and the Jews. He went to Mecca again to push his false religion. You see, I didn't want to go down this path, and I'm not. I'm not going to get talked into Muhammad. I'm going to stick strictly with slavery. So, so coming over here, it was a business deal between Islam and the Democrats, or the non-federalist. The term non-federalist came about after, or at the end of the Civil War, when the whites and blacks were saying they had enough of the fighting. They marched off the battlefield together, and said enough. And then from there, the Republican Party actually was formed, whites and blacks. They had, back then there were 17 black senators. The Constitution, the amendments, involved, cognitively, the concept of how are the blacks going to proceed through the rest of the future endeavors when it pertains to their freedoms. A lot of the Constitution and the amendments were written with the black man and woman in mind. You see, the Constitution is America. Our flag is America. See, our national anthem is America. Morals and values, traditional values, is America. Now, going back to this slavery, so there was a contract between the Democrats and the blacks. They came in to this country that way. There were blacks that bought slaves, and there was whites that bought slaves, and there was whites that were slaves, and so the concept, the idea that um, to demonize all white folk of um, because of slavery is ridiculous. You know, blame where the problem, where the problem is where you're going to lay the blame. Um, the it's almost as if you have a snake and, let's say, a little newborn bunny rabbit, and the snake is hungry. Well, snake trying to get the bunny rabbit, snake's gonna, eventually one day maybe catch that bunny rabbit. See, and it's the same thing that's going on with our political and the political endeavors that we're seeing from the socialist, or you can call them Democrats if you want. It's a socialist party now that's running for president, and that's going to convert this country or transform this country to socialism if Biden wins. Biden loses, you're going to see a lot. It's going to be bloody in the streets, man. Um, so yeah, they try to create this racial divide, um, and they invoke emotions. People are emotional about their heritage. What happened to my great grandpa? And I can understand that. But that's something that you have to take up with God. You know, it's nothing that the present white people or the present government is going to be able to do anything for you. You know, we all feel bad about some of the stuff that happened in history, not just to the black people. A lot of people forget, or maybe they don't even know, but just prior to the slavery in the United States, there was 1.25 million white Christians that were enslaved over in Africa. 1.25 million white Christians. I mean, European Christians. I mean, come on. So, yeah, we have this racial divide, folks. We got to stop it. If you're going to rise up and go against the people or the party that's trying to enslave you, steal. The Democrats, the Socialist Party, is trying to use the Americans of color to catapult their political ideologies, and they're lying to the black folk. What's going to happen is they're going to move all of these illegal immigrants in like they're doing, and the black folk are going to just move further down the food chain, and the whites are just going to be right there above them. And truthfully, if you want to think of a pecking order, the Christian, white or black, is going to be, persecuted probably before anybody else. It's coming to that. I'm sorry about the interruption. The TV went on, but so think about that stuff. The racial divide and how the political parties, have always created this racial divide. The political party, the Democrats / Socialists, have always created this racial divide. The political back then, they started out as the non-federalists. The Federalists were the Republicans. But just briefly, I'm going to touch on a couple points. Jim Crow. Well, no, first the KKK. Was a manifestation of the Democratic Party. Jim Crow was put into effect by the Democratic Party. Oh, let's go back. The very beginning, the vote to bring over or to get involved in the slave trade, all Republicans voted no to slavery. All the Democrats or non-federalists voted yes. Then it manifested into the Federalists gaining some power. They put in 19 black senators. The Democrats matched that by bringing into the KKK, not just to kill black folk, but they threatened and killed some white folk too. They didn't want to see black folk having any kind of political power. And then you have, I said the Jim Crow. I think I said the Jim Crow. And then you have the war on drugs, where the Clintons took the black folk out of the family unit, and that was the beginning of the end, the demise of let's say, moral and traditionally sound community. The black folks without a father figure created a lot of problems. You know what I mean? You see a lot of the detrimental behavior to this day because of that. You know, it was a shame. So yeah, I could go on and on about the detriments that the Democratic Party socialists brought to this country currently. They want to crush America's standards and morality. Don't let them do it at any cost. I mean, rise up to their level of aggression. You know. So with that, I just wanted to touch on a little bit of everything. And I know it might sound a little bit scattered, but piecing this together from 12 to 15 years ago, when I started to do all my research on what was going on in this country, it wasn't laid out step by step. You know what I mean? So I had to piece this together on my own. So when I'm discussing things with you, I might trail off onto another topic. Okay, and plus I forget a lot. I do honestly, I do stray a lot because my mental health is anxiety and disorder, and PTSD is it's can be devastating sometimes. But with all that, I'm going to leave you, and I'll get back to you and talk about some more things. So, God bless all of you. Rise up to their level of aggression. My prayer warriors, pray. Rise up, stand and shout for God, all in His glory. So, God bless all you folk, and I love you. And I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.